Israeli Prime Minister Rabin, you had a completely different situation. You had a corridor of soldiers making a corridor for Rabin to come down and get in his car. When you look at the footage shot by an onlooker, a tourist, the assassin was in among those soldiers, just standing there. Now, had they pulled back earlier, the assassin would have been standing alone with a gun, and people would have said, hold on, there's an assassin with a gun. So they held back, and it's amazing when you see the footage. Soon as Rabin comes into view, the soldiers take a step back, leaving the guy with the gun standing there, and of course the gun's fired. And then again, just apply that to the Diana situation in Paris. What happened at the crucial time when the run-up, literally minutes before, to the crash happened? The security, what there was of it, was removed.
It was all put on the front of the car in the Land Rover in the front of the hotel. But
exactly.
It
was removed.
That was the Trojan, that was to attract...
No, that's the official story. If you read the chapter in the book called The Goddess and the King, there are 60 pages about the Diana murder, and when you read them, anyone walking away saying it was an accident, well, I would be staggered. The exact detail of how it was done and for what reason we can debate about. The fact that that was set up is without question. I'll give you a couple of examples. There are 17 traffic cameras between the Ritz Hotel and the Pont d'Alma Tunnel. They have never gone down in unison since they were put in or since. Those 17 traffic cameras all failed together
that night,
in the time it took for the car to go from the Ritz Hotel to the tunnel. Because, of course, had they not failed, there would have been no mystery. You want to know what happened to Diana? Okay, put the video in. They all went down. Not only that, as a one of these enthusiasts who...
I'm starting to believe you, David, so...
One of these enthusiasts that, listen into police messages, he's got quite sophisticated equipment because it's his hobby. He confirms that not only did those cameras go down in that period of the car's brief journey, all the police frequencies in central Paris went down at the same time. It did not come back until she was officially dead. Just a coincidence, nothing to worry about.
Well, you say this was an extraordinary decision for a man obsessed with his own security. Bob Loftus, the former head of security at Herod, said, compared with the protection that Al-Fayed affords himself, which is very professional, of a very high standard, that which was afforded to the mother of the future King of England was a Mickey Mouse operation. But if you follow what happens in here, and you go, that means that Al-Fayed sacrificed his son. Because you can't have that crash without expecting, how do you have that crash to kill Diana without killing your own son, if he is a mastermind?
Well, I'm not saying in the book that Mohammed Al-Fayed masterminded it. What I'm saying in the book very clearly, and it is quite obvious.
I think you say here that the only person that's capable of removing that security is if Dodi says his father did it.
Yeah, when I'm saying, David, that Mohammed Al-Fayed did not mastermind it, what I'm saying is at his level within this network, Mohammed Al-Fayed is a gopher. He may seem to be powerful, he may seem to have a lot of money, but his wealth is dependent on him doing as he's told. And when you really get into this deeply, you find that getting into this network is much easier than getting out. You talk to anybody that's involved.
Getting out of any gang is tough.
And when these people say, you will do this, you will do it, you take the rewards of being part of it, but those rewards come with a price. You never say no.
Well,
and just to finish the point, what I am saying about Mohammed Al-Fayed, and I've been saying it for a year, and the silence from Harrods has been deafening, is that that crash could not have happened in the circumstances it did unless Mohammed Al-Fayed had made significant decisions to bring that circumstances about. And I've just been watching, before I came on the show in the green room, an interview with Trevor Rees-Jones, the security guard.
And his new book is out now.
In his new book, he confirms what I'm saying in that book, which is that no one in that organization, including Dodi Fayed, would cough without permission and agreement from the father. He runs Harrods, and he ran his son's life with a rod of iron. And it was Mohammed Al-Fayed, for instance, that set the whole thing in train when, having invited Diana down to the holiday, he called Dodi at his apartment just off the Champs-Élysées and said, you're going to get down here and spend some time with Diana. At the time, Dodi's with his girlfriend, Kelly Fisher, not expecting to go down there. One call from his father, and he runs. And so what Dodi was supposed to have decided about the security and stuff could not have been decided alone without his father, because nothing ever was.
Yeah. One of the, you've got in this Georgia Strait, remember this, you want to find out more about David, you can get hold of the Georgia Strait here. There's really 4 pages of stories here by Brian Sally. Lizard people control the world, and it goes on and on. I'm going to stay away from that topic right now, but not because of censorship, but because of some other things I want to talk to.
It's also a big story. We take a long time, yeah?
Yeah, we talk about the BC Skeptics Society in here, is quoted, and I went to a BC Skeptics meeting out at Simon Fraser University one time, and the subject was the assassination of President Kennedy. And I had to laugh, because here was this fellow there talking about Kennedy and the conspiracy theory. And I, of course, have always believed that there was a conspiracy, that there was a plot to kill Lincoln. And it's very clear that there was a plot to kill Lincoln and who was involved, et cetera, et cetera. And I thought that was well known. Mm-hmm. And this fellow who was there to, I can't remember who it was now, was there to discuss the assassination of Kennedy and the big conspiracy to do that, was dumbfounded when I asked him about Lincoln, because that wasn't, he'd never really thought about that or gone into that. But you've got the Masonic Lodge, everybody's a member. But if the guy that hunts him down and the John Wilkes Booth are both 32nd degree Masons or something, why is that a conspiracy theory? If they just, because both sides were. Isn't that just another one of those coincidences?
Well, coincidences on the scale that come up when you're investigating this manipulation, it goes beyond the bounds of, oh, that's just a coincidence. I mean, the same things come up again and again. And let me just point one thing out. There's a lot of people, when they're investigating this, who hurl generalizations all over the place, like, it's the Freemasons. Now, the vast majority of Freemasons have no idea what that organization is being used for. The way it works, and indeed it's a good way of explaining the way the whole conspiracy works, is through the pyramidal structure that is created. I mean, if you look at almost any organization today, whether it's a bank, a government, a business, whatever, a secret society is a classic. Right. They are structured as pyramids. Lower levels have a certain amount of information which is related only to what their contribution needs to be. Intelligence agencies call it need to know, or compartmentalization. It's only those few at the top of the pyramid that know how all the individual contributions lower down actually connect to create a certain agenda, a certain outcome, and introduction of the agenda. The people down here in banks, in secret societies, in governments, they're going to work in the media. They're going to work, they want to earn a living, they go home to their families, they have no idea what they're playing a part in. And in this way, the number of people in these organizations, whether it's the Freemasons or the governments or whatever, who are knowingly manipulating is tiny compared with those who are unknowingly making a contribution to an advance an agenda every day they have no idea exists.
They're just part of it.
It's the only way it could work, because if more than a few people knew about this, it wouldn't be happening.
But parents do this with their kids all the time. They have a knowing look across the table while their 12-year-old, their 6-year-old, their 9-year-old, their 16-year-old is about to do something. You look and say, well, it doesn't matter what I say. He or she's going to do it anyway. Let's let them learn it on their own. I mean, that's not a conspiracy. Genevieve from New Westminster, are you there?
Yes, hi. You just caught me with a mouthful of food. Good morning.
Morning.
Basically, Mr. Icke, if what you say is true, what can we do to stop them?
Good question.
Well,
should have thought.
There's two ways of looking at a situation you want to change. One is to find a solution, and the other one is to remove the cause of the problem. And I think the latter is by far the most sensible and most wise. The cause of the problem is this.